Good.
Okay.
The second G is a very big G. Yeah.
Exciting one as well.
Called the growth mindset. Okay. And here, tons of work has been done. Okay, it's not coming from LiA Africa. In fact, we look at the work of one professor, Carol Dweck. Okay, it's very extensive work. And from her work, we can make a determination of what attributes actually lead to success. So they start with kids, they follow them through life, many, many years, decades of work, okay? And it sort of helps to handle that question also of what breeds success. Is it talent or is it hard work, okay? So we try to put that at the back of our mind when we go into the conversation on growth mindset, okay? So from her work, she basically came to the conclusion that people with a certain type of mindset that she calls growth mindset have been found to be more successful in life and they achieve more in whatever endeavor they undertake, okay? So it might be interesting to find out what is this growth mindset all about. I think there's extensive work available online. You can read on end, okay? The work they did basically helps us to look at two types of mindset, growth mindset and fixed mindset, okay? And the key distinguishing feature between the two mindsets is that one of them is focused on looking smart or looking intelligent at all points, and the other mindset is focused on learning. Okay, so that actually helps to differentiate between the fixed mindset and the growth mindset. And they use the compass or the matrices of belief and focus to actually differentiate the types of mindsets. So from their work, people with growth mindset who tend to have more success in life tend to believe that they learn continuously and improve on whatever they're doing. And during that effort, they are focused on learning and improving themselves and less focused on how good or attractive they look. Okay, so based on that, they do not fear making mistakes for as long as they can learn from it. And some 4 key elements have been identified to be pivotal in terms of developing a growth mindset. Okay, one is, do you put extra effort in everything that you do? So there are people who put the minimal effort for as long as they can get by with it is okay. And there are people who even come across as they put too much effort in simple things, okay? And effort has been found to be a good contributor to growth mindset. The second one is challenges. Do you take on big daunting challenges and dare to fail and in the process learn, or in your bid to look good, you would rather avoid challenges that are too big and increase your chances of failure, go for something that is cool that you look good with, and then pass in flying colors. And people with growth mindset are noted to go for big challenges and put in their best effort to still succeed. Okay. The third one is attitude towards mistakes. So there are people who will avoid certain situations because they don't want to be seen as having made a mistake. And the people with growth mindset are happy and willing to take on the big challenges, give it the best effort, in the process make mistakes, and their perspective on mistakes is that they learn from it. So they're not focused on looking good all the time. They are willing to be vulnerable and make the mistakes because they will learn from it. Last but not the least, and it connects to mistakes and the NIAF model as well, is the concept of feedback. So there are people who receive feedback as criticism, and there are those who see it as an opportunity to improve whatever they do. And people with growth mindset are known to use feedback to continuously improve themselves. And that is why in the LiA model, we have feedback sitting right at the center. Because whether it's in your mindset, whether it's in the way you engage, whether it's the way you implement and take action, there's opportunity to learn. And if you're really pushing and giving it your best effort, you're likely to make mistakes. How you handle the feedback that comes to you when things don't go as planned has a very big impact on how you evolve as a leader. Okay, so that in summary talks about the growth mindset model. And to summarize, the people who have the growth mindset tend to think along the lines of, I admire others who are doing better because I can consciously learn from them and become better myself too.
Okay. Get it. Okay. So the common denominator there is a learning mindset, as you have. I mean, earlier on we talked about our innate desire to grow as living beings. Human beings, our growth is in our learning. Okay, so innately we have that desire to learn. And a few things that have happened either by societal design is making us do otherwise. So for example, school will give you marks for a correct answer. How I get that correct answer probably may not be much of an issue. And so if I can get it without sweat, I'm rewarded. It means that I don't have to put a lot of effort in it. So now I'm starting to believe something. I'm starting to get this fixed mindset that says that no, effort is not important, just get the results. This is what community and society is getting us into. I find the growth mindset so important because the societal design seems to favor the fixed mindset, and you have to be conscious to stay in the growth mindset.
So the concept of growth mindset is to move us away consciously from trying to stand on the pedestal and say that look how smart I am, to a space where you see how hard I'm trying, taking on bigger challenges, ready to make mistakes because I learn from them, and take feedback to continuously improve myself. So you celebrate your progress rather than the status of being smart. There's a short video that helps to highlight exactly what we've been discussing so far. So you can see it before we get to the last G.
If you operate in the world of sports or education, you've most likely heard of the term growth mindset. It's a concept that's sweeping the world and changing and improving the way that people learn. This powerful idea has been pushed forward by Stanford professor and best-selling author Carol Dweck.
For decades, I've been studying why some people succeed while people who are equally talented do not. And over the years, I've discovered that people's mindsets play a crucial role in this process.
These mindsets are really important when it comes to learning. Her work has uncovered two ways of thinking about skill and development. Some people have what's called a fixed mindset. They believe that skills and intelligence are set, and you either have them or you don't. That some people are just naturally good at things while others are not. In short, they believe that you are not in control of your abilities. Other people have what's called a growth mindset, and they believe that skills and intelligence are grown and developed. So people who are good at something are good because they built that ability, and people who aren't are not good because they haven't done the work. In short, they believe that you are in control of your abilities. Really, the core idea here is people with a fixed mindset believe that skills are born. People with a growth mindset believe that skills are built. People with a fixed mindset believe that you can't or don't have to learn and grow. And people with a growth mindset do believe in their capacity to learn and grow. Dweck's work shows that mindsets have a major influence on people's ability to learn, and that people who utilize this growth mindset tend to learn, grow, and achieve more over time than people with a fixed. growth mindset really creates a solid foundation for great learning. And because of its power, companies, sports teams, and schools from all over the world are implementing this into their culture. Over the years, we've worked with a ton of amazing groups to help instill this within their culture. We're talking Fortune 500 companies, lots of colleges, lots of high schools, and even a few prisons who are working to build growth mindset into their reentry program. What I'm trying to say is this is bigger than one study or one TED Talk. This is a powerful concept that's helping lots of different people in lots of different places. Now, the reason it's so important and powerful is it is the foundation for learning. And if you understand this, no matter what you build on that foundation, it will be more powerful. But to really implement and run with this concept, we need to zoom in and look at the nuts and the bolts of it. We need to talk about what it actually is and how it actually works. Through years of work, Dweck and her team have uncovered sort of the defining characteristics of the two mindsets. This table really illustrates the contrast between the two. The first big characteristic we need to talk about is belief. Again, people with this fixed mindset believe that skills are born and therefore they can't or don't have to learn. People with a growth mindset believe that skills are built, therefore they can learn. The second major characteristic is focus. People in a fixed mindset tend to focus on performance and outcomes and results. In other words, their main focus, their main concern becomes how they look, and more specifically, to not look bad. People with a growth mindset tend to focus more on the process of getting better, of learning and growing. These mindsets and these characteristics have a huge influence on our ability to learn, and now we start to see why. Let's look at like the 4 key ingredients to growth: effort, challenges, mistakes, and feedback. The research shows that when somebody is in a fixed mindset, they look at effort as a negative thing, as something that you do when you're not good enough. They also don't see the value or purpose of putting in effort. They've been shown to back down and avoid challenging situations. They get really discouraged and worked up when they make mistakes. And when somebody with a fixed mindset receives feedback from a parent, a teacher, a coach, or a friend, they get defensive, they take it personally, and they don't see the value or purpose of the feedback. So in other words, people with this fixed mindset actually avoid and shy away from these 4 key ingredients to growth. Dweck and her team have shown that when people enter a growth mindset, they look at effort as a useful thing, as an important part of the learning process. They're actually more likely to embrace challenges and persevere and work through them. They see mistakes as learning opportunities, and when they receive feedback, they actually appreciate it and use it. Now, the fascinating and important part of this table is to connect the dots between these key characteristics of the two mindsets and our actions and behaviors towards learning. Let's look at the fixed mindset side first. They actually shy away from putting in effort because they don't believe that they can change. They give up when they're met with a challenge and things get hard because they don't want to look bad. So in their mind, the challenge becomes a threat, and because they don't believe that they can change. They hate making mistakes and are discouraged by mistakes because if you're making mistakes, you're not looking good. And they don't see the value or purpose of feedback because they don't believe in their capacity to grow. So in one way or the other, every single one of these actions is a byproduct of these characteristics. And the same is true on the growth mindset side. They see the value and purpose of effort because they believe in their capacity to grow. They're more likely to take on a challenge and persevere through it because they believe that they can grow and because they're focused on the opportunity to do that. So they frame a challenge as an opportunity to get better. And by focusing on the process and believing in their capacity to grow, they're more likely to understand how important mistakes are in this process. And when they receive feedback from a parent, teacher, coach, or friend, they're more receptive to this because their focus is on getting better and because they believe that that information can help them grow and they have the capacity to do so. 2 key points with this table. First, You're not just one or the other. This is a spectrum. And in different times, on different days, in different situations, you might be in a growth, while other times you'll slip into a fixed. But now that we understand how it works and we understand the characteristics, you can start to identify where you're at on the spectrum and, more specifically, the cause of that mindset. Is it our beliefs or is it our focus? Second, yes, these actions of learning are great, and they're definitely behaviors that we want. But we have to understand that they come from our mindsets. So to create a great culture for learning, it's about zooming in on beliefs and focus and creating a real growth mindset, which is one of the most important things we can do.
Good. So that was a video from Train Ugly, and I believe the lessons are in there for us to pick. So we want to leave you with this big word, and it's strongly connected to the concept of growth mindset. The word is yet, and it's to say that regardless of what challenges that you're facing or what it is that you've not achieved, the point, the key word, the magic word is, I have not been able to do it yet. That word yet leaves the doors of opportunity open to you as to what more you can achieve. So whatever it is that you've not achieved, you've just not achieved it yet. And if you put in the effort, take on the bigger challenges, make sure that you are willing to make mistakes and learn from them, and take feedback as a way of learning and developing, then that yet would transition into success. Okay. So it's a very powerful word to capture into your vocabulary. Okay. Let's look at the wrapping concept for the mindset, okay? The growth mindset. And it's basically to say that I believe that I can train my mind to do whatever I want to do, okay? And I can learn, I can unlearn, and I can relearn, okay? And through that process, I become a better version of myself.